What's up, you guys? Back again for another episode here. It is a beautiful day. Thank God. Finally, a beautiful day out here in St. Paul, Minnesota. And today, we're going to be talking about the top 3 reasons why people don't want to get in shape. People don't want to get healthier, be better versions of themselves. Now, the number one reason that I hear the most is that people don't have time. Now, in my opinion, if you don't have time to do something, if you don't make time for something, there's 24 hours in a day, right? If you don't make time to do something that's right for you, then you don't want it that bad. If I say, I don't have enough time, but yet I spend 8 hours of my day at work, I spend maybe 2 hours of my day doing stuff at home, whatever the case may be, there's always time if you make it. Back when I started my fitness journey, I would go to the gym after work at midnight, and I would work out, and then I'd run all the way home, a 45-minute run, from the gym 5 days a week, sometimes 6. Because I wanted it that bad, so I made time for it. Even though I lost sleep, I would come home and I'd do my meal prep. And back then I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I'd be up, 3, 4 in the morning cooking, trying to figure out what I'm doing. And so, it's, if you want it bad enough, you'll make time. It's that simple. So that's not a valid excuse to me. So number 2 is you don't know what you're doing. Now, this I can relate with, okay? Because when I started, matter of fact, I have a funny story. So the first time that I went back to the gym after not being in the gym, this was last August. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I'd go in there and I just work my ass off, which is true, but it's how you work your ass off. You don't want to overtrain, which in reality is hard to do, but I trust me, I did it. And you might be like, all right, well, how'd you overtrain? Well, so that day I was training my arms, right? Because my arms are my favorite thing to train, since the beginning and even, until now. And so I went in there and I started just lifting weights, whole bunch of sets, whole bunch of reps, constantly. I didn't rest that much, and I was lifting heavier than I could, thinking that that your arms are supposed to grow from, heavy weight instead of, concentrated, tension, which is another topic. But so I go in there, I leave the gym, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I killed it, I didn't know what I was doing, but I still went in there and I killed it, which I did, I felt great. The next day though, I wake up and my arms are like this. Right? I can't move my arms. I can't fully extend them. And I realized then that I had what's called in the fitness industry, TRex Arms, which is pretty much where your muscle fibers are so broken down and so wrecked that they aren't able to repair enough to where you're even able to function properly with them. And they need even extra time to rebuild and repair because they're so damaged from overtraining them. So if that's not a demotivator, I don't know what it is. When your arms hurt so bad you can't even fully extend them, and you still got to go to work and do your job, and you're looking like this all day, it's ridiculous. But I didn't let that stop me. I knew that there was something that was missing that I needed to learn to come back in, the next time and do better. And so that's what I did, So when people say, I don't know what I'm doing, 2020 in this day and age, and this turn of the decade, information is so easily accessible, it's ridiculous. If you're just willing to put in the time to sit, even if it's an hour, 2 hours a day, however much you enjoy it is how much time you're going to put into it. I know that I put hours and hours a day into it because I was so passionate about learning about it, because I was so fascinated about all these things I was learning. But if you just put in a little bit of time every day and just doing a YouTube search, doing a Google search, anything, you reading a book, something, you will learn the information necessary to go in the gym with a level of confidence that will allow you to be successful and will allow you to learn more about your body and get better gains because you put the time into being knowledgeable about it. If I were to just go in there constantly with my T-Rex arm routine, I'd probably have severe muscle damage at this point. So I'm glad that I didn't do that. And I'm glad that I learned, and I now feel confident in the gym. I can walk in the gym and be like, oh, all right, so this is what I feel like doing, so I do it, and I know how to do it, and like how to do the range of motions and everything like that. And it feels good. It feels a whole lot better than going in there clueless. So the third thing that people say, you know, why they can't get healthy and get in shape is because they're afraid of change. Change, and I can relate with this, okay? Change is very, very difficult to go through for some people, especially when you've done something for so long, you know? Like when I started training, I had, like the last period of training that I had was maybe like a year or two, but prior to that, so I had been in my unhealthy ways for a long time, you know? And so it was definitely very hard to create the habits that I have now, to create the discipline that I have now. It's very difficult, but you know, like I've said in the past, hard and easy is only a matter of perspective. You know, if you want something bad enough and your willpower is high enough, you'll realize that these tasks set before you are not as grand as they seem. They're just a matter of doing them. That's you know, the hardest gap for some people to get over is just to get started, you know, because it's such a grand thing, you know, health and wellness. It's like, where do I start? But you know, just start somewhere, anywhere, and trust me, you'll thank yourself. And the hardest part about getting into training, this is the biggest thing that I've noticed about people, is that first month, right? You start training, you're starting to get into it, and you're working out, and when you're done working out, you're super sore, you're super fatigued, like your body is going through stuff that you haven't experienced it ever, if not in a long time. And it can feel defeating and demotivating because you're like, man, like I feel weak, I feel you know, way too sore or whatever to want to go back the next day or after a rest day and get back after it. But if you can force yourself, you know, eat right to recover properly, and if you can force yourself to get past that first month, guys, I'm telling you, after that first month, it just becomes easier and easier and easier to follow your plan and your habits. Because once you get to a point like where I'm at, you get to a point where it's almost, if you do not do what you're supposed to be doing, you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel right, because you've habitually constructed a whole new kind of person where your past self would look at this like, well, what? That's crazy. I'm working out 5-6 days a week. I'm eating healthy every day, non-negotiable. I'm doing all these things for myself. What? And there's no way that I could do that. But now where I'm at now, I'm like, how could I not do that? You know, I feel like it'd be compromising myself at this point if I were to go back. So yeah, that's it, guys. That is the top 3 things that I feel like people, you know, that I hear the most that people say to say why they don't want to get into health and wellness and being in shape, being fit and healthy and exercising. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'll show you guys. It is a beautiful day here in St. Paul. And if you guys like what I'm saying, if you learned something from it, if you can relate to it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate everybody and anybody that watches. If I can even just help one person help get their mind right, then, you know, it's worth it to me. So again, thank you, and I will see you guys probably on Monday.